Hey, good morning, everybody. Good morning. I hope you guys are doing well. It's so good to see you. So today I'm still on a high because last night we were reading Black Labor, White Wealth by Dr. Claude Anderson, and we have now reached page 167. And if you were here last night, you would know that we were reading basically how the government, or not so much just the government, I want to say it that way, your oppressors pretty much put a really good system in place to ensure that you grew up believing that white people are superior to you, and also to ensure that you know your place. And this is pretty fascinating to me. If you read some of the laws and the way they strategically codified white supremacy into society, it's pretty interesting, right? And so we were reading about meritorious manumission, which is the legal act of freeing a slave for good deeds as defined by the national public policy. Meritorious manumission could be granted to a slave who distinguished himself by saving the life of the white master, inventing a new medicine, or snitching on fellow slaves. This was a destructive weapon in the slaveholder's arsenal and a powerful component of the public policy. The importance that whites placed on black informants is emphatically demonstrated by a rare monument that the town of Harper's Ferry erected to honor Haywood Shepherd, a black man who was killed by the totally committed abolitionist John Brown and his raiding party shortly before the beginning of the Civil War. Haywood Shepherd was shot dead by John Brown's party when he recognized John Brown and attempted to warn the town that they were there to free the slaves. In grateful recognition for placing the economic interests of the slaveholders above the freedom of his own people, the town erected the only monument honoring a black man who could appropriately be described as a Sambo. Since the civil rights movement of the late 1960s, the statue has been stored beside the city's major museum and covered with a wooden box. Meritorious manumission was not only used as an instrument to reward blacks, it was a device for destroying black unity and race loyalty. So there's more here. This is from Black Labor, White Wealth by Dr. Claude Anderson. And what is interesting is he talks about various structured ways they went out of their way to ensure that that if you're black, they would hold you back, they would control you. And they put this in the laws, they put this in the culture. They pressured other white people by saying, if you violate this, you will be punished as if you were black. So it's kind of an interesting thing. So anyway, what I'm going to do is answer some of your questions. If you have a question, feel free to put a question in the chat. And let's see here. And by the way, I had to set my Q&As on subscriber only because I don't want trolls just flying in just to say something stupid. So subscribers can ask a question. If you're not a subscriber, you won't be allowed to ask a question. Let's see. In Honor with Crowder says, really quickly, what is the name of the class that you do every week about stocks and crypto? If you go to boycewatkins.com and look for my Black Stock Market Investing class, you'll find it right there. So that's what that is. All right. So let me see here. Let me grab the link. And I'm going to share this link actually on Twitter. But my Twitter is Dr. Boyce Watkins 1. So. Okay. All right. Next question. Is it good or bad for a stock to be majority owned by PE firms, private equity firms? Good or bad? I think it depends. It depends on the firm. You can't say all private equity firms are good or all private equity firms are bad. Yeah, I don't think there's not one answer to that question. Do you think inflation is a hoax? No, I do not. Jason Allen, I think Showtime had a TV series, a show about John Brown. Did they really? That sounds interesting, right? That's pretty cool. I'd like to see that. Let's see. Alton says, do you think we can have our own media platforms to create better shows for black men and black women? Yes, we can. That the reason I use the internet extensively is because I know that I don't really want to try to filter a solid message through white-owned media. I think that America is pretty racially backward to the point where think about this. They'll honor a black man who's a thug who talks about murdering black people all day, but they'll ignore black scholars who actually want to make people better. That right there tells you about the mental illness of racism and something you would really want to be careful with in this society. Next, Let's see. What do you think of the Harlem Amazon show and the barbershop controversy? I think that a lot of shows are LGBT shows that are disguised as black shows. So you really want to be very careful about sort of believing that anything that they put a word like Harlem on or black on or whatever, that these are black shows. Because one of the things about a lot of these shows is they have, think about it, you have a show that's representing black culture, but half your writers are Jewish. I want you to tell me seriously, give me a yes or no. Can I go find a Jewish show, a show that describes Jewish culture where half the writers are black? Do Jewish people allow black people to define their culture to mass media? Yes or no? The answer is hell to the no. They don't. They don't. So let's see here. All right. Okay. Let me see. Let me hit a couple buttons. When's the next time you and Dr. Claude Anderson have a segment? It depends on how he feels. Dr. Anderson is he's getting older. He's almost 90. He'll be 90 in 3 years. So he's kind of tired, and when you get to that age, it's kind of difficult, to be honest with you. How do you feel about precious metals as a long-term hold? They're okay. They're not. I don't think you can get rich off of it, but it's something that it could add diversification to your portfolio. Let's see here. Black Power, Brother Watkins. Black Power to you too. Is it worth it to try Robinhood? I think it is. I think Robinhood works. It does its job. The John Brown show was good, but much of the black community watches TV and don't value scholars or art at this point in time. Yeah, that's true, but there are people out here who do, and those are the ones that I enjoy talking to the most. What's the least amount of money you can use to start investing? You can invest with $5. Will the kids' books help with money? I'm trying to teach a younger man. Yeah, if you go to boycewatkins.com, you can find our programs for children. So feel free to go to boycewatkins.com, or if you're on Instagram, you can actually hit the link in the bio. And by the way, my one Instagram you can go to that I have is the Black Financial Channel. So if you're really into the financial stuff, the Black Financial Channel on Instagram is a good place to go. My Boyce Watkins Instagram page has been shadow banned. I think it's because I interview people like Rizza Islam, and there is a concerted effort to silence certain people who challenge the white supremacist narrative. So that's just what it is. It's just life. You just deal with it. Since the Fed printed so much money and they aren't stopping, interest rates at 0 for 4 years. Thoughts of the dollar crashing. I don't think it's going to crash, but you will have some inflation. What's the best platform for trading stocks and crypto? It depends. There's a lot out there. What was it? Things like Kraken and crypto.com, they aren't bad. Even Coinbase, I think, gets the job done, but there's some people who don't like Coinbase. We have a Black Crypto Club that you may want to check out in the Black Business School. If you go to, again, just go to boycewatkins.com. There's a link to the crypto club. And or if you go to the blackcryptoclub.com, they meet every month and they have experts that can really answer literally every question you have about crypto. What's the best way to advertise at a restaurant, and how can I advertise my business on your platform? We don't really sell ads, to be honest with you. If you mention the name in the chat, I'll say it right now. But honestly, we don't try to sell advertising and all that stuff. But in terms of advertising a restaurant, I mean, maybe getting an ads team, hiring an agency might be the best approach, I would say. Do you think it's a good idea for me to start an actual homeschooling program with a certified teacher? Yeah, I think Black people should be homeschooling our kids, because you're sending your kids to racist people who are destroying their brains. When does compound interest kick in? It kicks in right away. You just may not see it for a few years. Will Tierney Cherie be on Fly Nubian Queen now? I have no idea who Tierney Cherie is. No disrespect. I just don't know that name. What do I think about MTTR and CHPT? Ask me about specific stocks in stock market class. So if you go to boycewatkins.com, you can join our stock market class, where all I do is students leave me questions and I answer their questions. I research it and I'll answer the question in class. Let's see. Do you use Fidelity? No, I do not. I do like Fidelity though. El Hodge, what's the minimum amount you need to get started with stock options? Maybe a couple $100 could get you started. I mean, it could be less, but I think a couple $100 might be a good number to start with. You're in the stock options masterclass. Okay, great. Yeah, it's stockoptionsmasterclass.com if you want to take a look. Do you feel that stock options is the way to go to get started off investing? It's stock options give you leverage. which is like a slingshot. So the slingshot can either throw you forward or throw you backward, right? So with options, you're taking more risk, but the ROI can be higher. But there are different option strategies out there where you can calibrate the risk to an acceptable level. Let's see. Dr. Claude Anderson talks about Hayward Shepherd in one of his lectures. He has that type of mindset elevated. Yeah, meritorious manumission, the Sambo mindset, very prominent. It spreads faster than coronavirus. With so many people taking the leap, leaving corporate America and starting their own business, how focused should we be on teaching financial literacy for new business owners? It's absolutely essential. Financial literacy needs to be the new gospel for Black people. If we spend as much time learning financial literacy as we spend in church or spend learning how to twerk or learn how to play football or basketball, we'll be able to do anything we want to do. How do I get started in investing? You could just start, but also if you go to firstshareofstock.com, there's a free training I put there, firstshareofstock.com, firstshareofstock.com. What's your opinion on NFTs? I would be a seller, but never a buyer because I think the market's inflated. How much should I invest at 23? Just invest whatever you have. Takira said, Tykeria, is that right? Styles. I'm so confused about what to do with my kids. They're getting crushed in public school, though. Just spend time with them. Lead with love. Talk to them about things that you think they're going to need to know. Every child should be educated on economics. There's plenty of stuff online you can use to do that. Also, children should be educated on how to be good members of the Black community, how to be good Black citizens. That starts with like your son. How do you be a good father? How do you women, how do you be a good mother? How do you be a good woman? How do you talk to a man? How do you talk to a woman? How should you raise your kids in a certain way? How do you take care of your health? How do you maintain good relationships with other Black people? Those things should be the things that are taught initially, in my view. Let's see. What do you think about IULs, Index Universal Life? I like them. I think that they do the job. I don't have any, but I do. I mean, I don't think it's a bad move at all. Hey, Dr. Boyce, I've taken economic classes, and the one thing that's extremely clear is that a dollar earned is split dozens of ways, but they never speak on Blacks' free labor for hundreds of years. No, they don't. So that's why it's our job to do that. Every Wednesday night at 8 o'clock, we have our own school system, by the way. Our own school system exists on the internet. I'm a college professor. I'm smarter and more qualified than every teacher that you've had, probably at least 99.9% of them. So there's no excuse. We can educate our own. We're doing that already. Every Wednesday, we're reading Dr. Claude Anderson's book, Black Labor, White Wealth. If you go to boycewatkins.com, look for the book club. You can join the book club. You can join live for free. If you want to see all the archived lectures, I've done 26 lectures on this book so far. And I'm going to probably, by the time I'm done, I will have done 300 of them. And so if you want to get access to every lecture I've done, just go to drboycebookclub.com. Or actually, it's the drboycebookclub.com. And you can get access to all those lectures. Let's see. Let's see here. Last Dragon Restaurants, Chinese restaurant carryout, available through Uber Eats, DoorDash. Okay. Oh, there I said it. Last Dragon Restaurants. That's pretty cool. A Black man running a Chinese restaurant. That's what I'm talking about. Because you got a lot of Chinese people running soul food spots. So we need to go take some of their money too. How do I teach my kids about credit and savings? Says Kiana. I say talk to them about it. There are children's programs out there, books you can let kids read. We have a children's program called Black Millionaires of Tomorrow. If you go to boycewatkins.com, you can actually find the children's program there. We've educated thousands and thousands and thousands of our kids. So feel free to go take a look. Best book in your opinion on trading options. I don't have any one particular book that it's like a go-to book, to be honest with you. I think with options, I'm more of a fan of joining some sort of class or program. Some of them are in the thousands of dollars, right? Which is cheaper than going to college, but it's kind of pricey. In the Black Business School, we have the stock options masterclass, which is a few $100, total. And you can actually do a monthly option, which is less than $100 a month. So feel free to take a look at that. Let's see. You go to boycewatkins.com. You can find a lot of stuff there. Just go to the Black Business School from my website. Let's see here. Why isn't it obvious that we're owed reparations? Well, it is obvious. It's just they're going to keep ignoring you as long as you keep giving your vote away for free. If you keep voting for nothing and letting people trick you into doing that, why wouldn't they keep ignoring you? Like, why would they change their behavior? They have no incentive to do that. I wouldn't change my behavior. You haven't presented a credible threat. To negotiate properly, you must present a credible threat. If you play yourself for a sucker, then people going to treat you like a sucker. So keep playing yourself for a sucker, and that's what you're going to get. Stock options class is good, very concise. Thank you, Eyes Wide Shut. I appreciate you saying that. If you want to take a look at the stock options masterclass, you can go to stockoptionsmasterclass.com. I've done entire weekend intensive trainings on stock options, things like that. The other thing, too, is every single thing we do in the Black Business School has a 30-day 100% money back guarantee. So we guarantee you're going to love it. If you don't love it, let us know. We'll give you your money back. We don't want anybody unhappy, right? So this is a university that's better than college, because last time I checked, universities didn't give refunds. Let's see here. Which cryptocurrencies do you currently hold? I hold a lot. If you want to see the list of the cryptos I hold, you can go to drboycecrypto.com. That's drboycecrypto.com. Let's see. I haven't been home. Eric says I haven't been home in a minute. Is Wall Street fallen? I'm not sure if that's an intelligent question. Ask that question again, Eric, because I'm not quite sure exactly what you're asking, but I'd be happy to answer that for you. Lee Lambo says, a Lambo Transco LLC, completely Black owned and on the rise in 2022 to become the premier transportation company in the Midwest. All right, there you go. Lambo Transco LLC. That's what I'm talking about. Go ahead. Thank you, Michael Ferguson, for your donation. I appreciate that. If you want to support the platform, feel free to become a patron. You can go to intelligentblackpeople.com. Let's see. Are you still doing what Dr. Boyce is buying? Yes. If you log into my stock market class, which you can find at boycewatkins.com, you get free access to what Dr. Boyce is buying, where about once every week, 7 to 10 days, I put a list of 5 or 6 stocks that I love, that I really think are going to do well. These are all longer term plays, meaning that these stocks, the portfolio is going to do very well if you give it enough time. Sometimes it does well within a week or two, but really these are plays that you're talking about maybe 2 years or more for sure. And so the way you invest is not based on individual stocks, though. You invest based on industries. It's easy to predict which industries are going to do well. It's very difficult to predict which stocks are going to do well. Okay, so keep that in mind as you move forward. All right. Let's see. Next. And by the way, you can ask me questions that are not financial if you want. You can ask me personal questions like what's your shoe size and how often do you get your hair cut, which is which is never, because I don't have any hair. And I'm happy to answer any questions. Give me 1 second here. All right. And by the way, so in every question you ask me, I'm going to give you a quick answer. It's not, if you want a prolonged answer, something like that, join my class. I literally, for my students, when they leave questions in advance, I'll look it up and I'll give you a more detailed answer. But because there's so many questions here, I have to answer them fast. Can I please get 3 to 5 minutes on a call? A Black father of 5. I don't do private consultations very often because my schedule is just too tight. But if you want to arrange one, there is a fee. You can go to you can email manager at boycewatkins.com, and she can talk about it. But just know it's $1,000 an hour to talk to me, to be like directly, not because I'm arrogant, but because I have literally thousands of emails a day. And so I can't talk to everyone. But I will talk to those who really want consultation or whatever, because it is worth it. I mean, if you talk to Tony Robbins for an hour, you're going to pay like $25,000 or something like that. So I have to charge a fee because I can't talk to every person individually, but that's why the classes are there. So if you go to boycewatkins.com, if you sign up for a class, you leave me a question in advance, I will research it and look it up. Can you hear me? How do you get over someone's death? Therapy. There's thousands of Black therapists out there that can help you. Go talk to a therapist. Therapists are wonderful. It will help you work through all the stress of being Black. Let's see. How to invest in a coin. I don't really know. The blackcryptoclub.com that's where I get my experts from. Theblackcryptoclub.com. They could probably tell you how to do that. What coin should I invest in today? I'm a big fan of Bitcoin and Ethereum. The other stuff I dabble in, but not so much. That's not my long-term money. My long-term money is Bitcoin and Ethereum. What should I invest 10K in? I would say hold some of it for cash in case you have an emergency, but I think a diversified stock portfolio will do the trick. Which crypto coin should I buy? I think I mentioned that Bitcoin and Ethereum. Can you guys hear me? Let me know if you can hear me. Give me a yes if you can hear me. Did you hear about Slim 400? Yes, the rapper that just got killed. I told you guys a rapper is going to die every week. Like that's what they've gotten you used to. That's the cadence. Just like a drum beat, just like boom, boom, boom. You hear a beat. Like every week, you're gonna have at least one, sometimes 2 or 3 rappers die every week. They have sold you a complete death culture. They've gotten you to buy into it. You think black people dying is cool, which is why Black lives don't matter, which is why things will never get better for your community in that particular regard, because they've gotten you to celebrate your own demise. So just understand that. Like my heart goes out to this poor brother that died, but the fact that they're selling you death culture and they got you celebrating, like calling yourself the N-word, they got you celebrating like literally, you think about it. I saw somebody list their top 5 rappers. Every single one of those top 5 rappers was somebody who has killed somebody or is on the verge of being killed. Like your top 5 entertainers in that whole genre are all like living on the edge of death, right? With the Grim Reaper hanging right over their head with the sickle ready to chop their head off, and I don't know what to do about it. I hope it changes, but I just want you to be aware of it. 32 school shootings in the last 3 months. Yeah, America has too many guns. We have more guns than people. Doc, I want to start a business. Where do I go? What do I do? Blackmoney103.com. That's blackmoney103.com. That's our entrepreneurship program in the Black Business School. That's part 3 of our Black Money sequence. We have 6 classes we believe every Black person should take to become fully prepared economically, start businesses, invest, all that stuff. And Black Money, the third one is entrepreneurship, blackmoney103.com. We're having 2 interesting people coming through. Teddy Ewing in Egypt, who knows how to make money. And then also a sister named attorney Mary Dean, the Wall Street lawyer. Is it the Black Wall Street lawyer? Yeah, I think she's the Black Wall Street lawyer. I think that's the tag she uses. She has a model called Lift, which is LIFT. I know the IFT is insurance. In your insurance systems, your financial systems, your tax systems. What is the L? Why am I losing the L? I can't remember what the L is. Damn it. It must be because I'm tired. What about MC Light is alive and flourishing? She's a rapper. Yeah, well, she's an older rapper. So she came from a time where we didn't think Black people deserve to die. Let's see. B1 Chicago. Someone is using your platform to get people into buying and mining Bitcoin. Yeah. I don't know what to do. There literally are people out there that are scamming, that are pretending to be me. So if I send you a message, if a Boyce Watkins sends you a message and says, join me in this Bitcoin mining group, that's just not me. That's not me. So there you go. That's all I can say. What do you think about trading Forex? I think trading Forex is something worth looking into if you're interested. We're actually having a free Forex event in the Black Business School Friday. So if you go to boycewatkins.com and you look for the free Forex event, it should be right at the top. If you're on Instagram, click the link in the bio. It's right there. What does it mean to be a white person from a culture that no longer exists, or a white person that came from a World War II camp? To be from a culture that no longer exists? Sorry, that question's a little confusing for me. Sorry about that. What's the best way to learn to invest for beginners? Firstshareofstock.com can get you started. Firstshareofstock.com. I can help you keep the bots off your page. Well, send me a DM because the bots are everywhere. It's very difficult. Let's see. Jason says, Boyce, did you see the NFT ETF ticker NFTs? No. Is it doing well? If you're making money, congratulations. Let's see here. Yo, Doc, do you invest in art? A little bit. I got a great painting from Jay Ortiz out of Philadelphia, who's a great artist. He sold his paintings at the All Black National Convention. People were paying thousands of dollars for his paintings. It was pretty cool to watch that. And he gave me a free painting, which I'm very happy to put on my wall. How do you educate your child if they don't stay with it? Well, with kids, you got to kind of stay on them. My wife, is yelling at our kids every morning, and I'm the bonus dad, so some of that role is mine, some of it's not. When you're dealing with kids that are not your biological children, you have to approach it in a different way. But what I do is I make sure I'm a helpful resource and a protector of the family, and that's the job that I enjoy very much. Let's see here. Third Eye Forex, Dr. Boyce, send Black folks to my channel to learn Forex. Okay. What do you think about leveraged index ETFs for long-term passive investing? Leveraged indexed ETFs. It depends on which one you're referring to. I think it's worth a try. It's worth adding to your portfolio if that's of interest to you. Would you be interested in hearing about my business for possible collaboration? Well, if you email manager@boycewatkins.com, my manager will review your email, make it short, so that because she has a lot of messages, and she will definitely take a look. I don't personally do meetings myself. I literally delegate all my meetings to other people because I'm tired of meetings. I'm exhausted all the time, and it's like kind of crazy. There's so much stuff. It's tough. It's tough. When you're when you do stuff publicly, everybody's grabbing a little piece of you, and they're like, "Oh, I only want 10 minutes of your time," and they don't understand. They're the 30th person to ask for 10 minutes of your time, right? So it kind of gets to the point where you got to delegate. So like when you build up your business and your systems, you have to have ways to delegate things, or you'll just drive yourself insane. You'll work yourself into the ground. And I ain't trying to be dead, trying to like handle every single meeting myself. What are your suggestions about the vax controlling economical growth and education? I think when it comes to the jab, I mean, right now you're living in an apartheid era. Is that going to change? I hope it changes. I don't know what to do. I mean, I can't even go speak on the West Coast now because apparently everywhere you go, you got to have this crap in your body. And I'm not saying you shouldn't have the right to do that. I respect you if you made that choice, but don't make that choice for me. Like, don't stop that. It's stupid. Stop it. You're overplaying this. 99% survival rate does not scare me. I'm sorry. I know that for some people they're mortified. Maybe some people have gone through it and they, maybe somebody they know has had this happen to them. I get that, right? I totally get that. But, for you to think that you have the right to legislate how I live my life because you saw something that happened in your life, that's like me saying, well, you know what? My best friend got killed when I was 25. He got shot in the head in front of his daughter. So everybody needs to stay in their house for good so that you don't have that happen to you. I want to protect you by forcing you to stay inside your house for the rest of your life because I don't want you to die the way my friend did. And if you say, Boyce, but most people don't die when they walk outside their house, I would say, how dare you? How dare you disrespect the memory of my friend? How dare you be so insensitive about what happened to my friend? No, you're not saying that. You're just simply saying that my personal experience has warped my perspective on a broader issue. Right. And I think the same thing is true here. Every time I talk about the fact that there's a 99.8% survival rate, that 99.8% of us survived the pandemic just fine, I always have people in the chat who say, that's so insensitive for you to say that. What's insensitive about me giving you a statistic? There's nothing insensitive about that. What's insensitive is the fact that you are taking your personal experience and oppressing other people with your own life. Like, that's your life, man. Seriously, whatever you want to do, if you want to go in your house and get under your bed and stay there until the year 2050, then you have my full blessing to do that. But leave us the fuck alone. Seriously, just leave the rest of us alone. I hate that. It's the craziest thing in the world. I look at the damn data. Am I going to die or am I not going to die? Or am I at risk? Am I not at risk? What am I at risk for? How bad can it get? If I get this thing, what's my chances of survival? I look at all of that, and then I make a decision that works best for me and my family. And even in my own family, I have some of my friends, some of the people in my family chose to get a jab. Some of them chose not to get a jab. It's their right to do that. So stop that. Stop telling other people to do what you did. Unless you want us to start telling you whether you can get an abortion or whether you can, whatever it is you want to do, right? Or whether you have the right to have a boyfriend or a girlfriend. If you're a dude, do you have the right to put your penis in another man's butt? Like, seriously, like that's just dumb to me. Like, I just, it's dumb, it's oppressive, and I hate oppression. It's not right. Like, respect other people's rights. Well, no, you're putting everyone in danger because you won't get the jab. Shut up. Just stop it. Stop that stuff. Like, seriously, every time somebody wants to restrict other people's freedom, they always say, well, I'm only doing that because I want to keep everyone safe, and you're putting everyone in danger by not doing what I tell you to do. Again, I told you, my best friend got shot in the head when I was 25 years old in front of his daughter. I could easily say that, if you let your kids out of the house, you're putting them in danger because they could get shot just like my friend. Like, I can literally do that, but that would sound crazy. That's ridiculous to me. So I could keep going. I could keep going. But I'm not. I have to make it 100% clear. I'm not pro or anti any of this stuff when it comes to the jab. I'm just pro freedom. That's it. Just let people make their own choice and stop oppressing people, man. This is crazy to me. And dividing people. That's the part that I don't like. I don't like all the division. So anyway, next question, please. We need help here in London, England too. Yeah, I hope I can go to London one day. I think I need to have jabs to get into London. What are your thoughts about Black Lives Matter doubling down on their support for Jussie Smollett? Oh, that Jussie Smollett thing is funny, ain't it? Woo, buddy. I tell you, what's got me cracking up is Don Lemon getting busted for basically, from what I understand, he helped Jussie to obstruct justice. Like he warned him on a text allegedly that that the cops don't believe you, they're gonna come get you. I don't know if it's that sinister. I'd be really curious to know more about the context, but I find that really interesting because remember, CNN just fired Chris Cuomo for help, for looking out for his brother, using his journalistic contacts like Lemon did to find out some information so he could get ahead of the curve. And that's what they do. They want to get ahead of the story, right? So it's not inconceivable that Lemon hit up his homeboy, because here's the thing. There's a little bit of a mafia thing going on. People talk about the little gay mafia and all that. It's there. It's there. Let me give you a real life example that affected me. I did a video about Lee Daniels and Empire, and I said it's really disturbing. It should be very disturbing for Black people that they pick the most mentally ill Black people to go to Hollywood to tell Black stories. They don't pick regular Black people that understand the Black community. They grab the most dysfunctional people they can find who fit right into the white supremacist narrative. So I said, it's disturbing that Lee Daniels is the guy who's representing these Black images, because you're taking, I think maybe less than 10% of the population is gay, but you're acting like half the damn Black community is gay. That's the problem. It's not the fact that you're representing that culture. It's the fact that you're acting like everybody's doing it. That ain't fucking true. Stop that shit. So I said that, right? I did the video. A lot of people watched it. Don Lemon the next day goes on the Tom Joyner morning show and basically attacks me and says I was wrong about Lee Daniels and that I'm this and I'm that or whatever, right? And I thought that was really interesting. I said, okay, so y'all hooking up, like y'all connected like that, like you looking out for your buddy, right? So Don did that with Lee Daniels. I'm not surprised he did that with Jussie Smollett, because Jussie Smollett was a star on Lee Daniels' show. So they're connected, right? So here's what's going to happen. CNN is probably not going to fire Lemon for doing exactly what Chris Cuomo did, because CNN is a network where if brothers rise up on the ladder on CNN, y'all know what it is. A guy like me ain't never going to be no host on CNN. The one guy who is the host in the daytime, I don't know his name, but he has that real nice, shapely looking beard. He has the kind of beard that's like really, really, really like well, what do you call it? Well tailored, you know what I mean? Like you look at this beard, you're like, okay, me and you might not, we probably ain't the same. We ain't the same. You might be trying to look at my booty, ain't you? But anyway, so I just think it's kind of interesting to sort of see how all this plays out in the bias. So you got to just kind of like read the writing on the wall. Anyway, let me stop talking. All right. Do you think the United States will go to war with Russia if Russia goes to war with Ukraine? I think that's a possibility, Michael. The United States is very upset about what's going on in the Ukraine for sure. And that could be a mess. Could be a good time to invest in oil. And I actually agree with you 100%. Some of that may have been priced in already, but if they make another negative, crazy announcement about Russia, then the price of oil could shoot up, and that could be a good move. So I think that what you're saying makes perfect sense. Let's see here. Sup with Tulsa scam with Jay. I think that if you say that Jay's running a scam with the Tulsa Fund, I think you should prove that, because what happens is that when you throw out baseless allegations, you throw a dark cloud over a Black-owned business. And all I can tell you about the Tulsa Fund is, one, I've been an investor for years. I'm very, very happy. Two, most of the people who say things about the Tulsa Fund are people who never invested. Three, because there was so much screaming from people that have big YouTube channels who didn't actually put a single penny into helping get the fund off the ground. They were just upset and jealous because, he getting money. That nigga over here getting money, right? Well, the SEC did a full investigation of the Tulsa Fund. They almost killed the fund because they had to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars because of all the people, that were chattering on the internet. They had to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars defending themselves to the SEC, money on lawyers, all this stuff, right? Which increases the chances that the fund is going to die, right? That fear, uncertainty, and doubt destroys the value of an asset. But they withstood all that, and the results came back, and the results said no wrongdoing found. No wrongdoing found. And there are some people where, because they're so determined to believe that something is scandalous or scammy, they'll ignore all facts and all data and all information. And so what I'm here to just simply say to you is that the Tulsa Fund could end up losing money, just like every business could lose money. There are thousands and thousands and thousands of mutual funds started by white people that lose money every year. thousands of them, right? And sometimes they get sued, right? And that's what you do. When you feel like something didn't go right, you take it to the court of law. But to take it to the court of internet rumors is, I think, fundamentally unfair. And it's a problematic kind of energy that I encourage you, if you really have an issue, then go file a lawsuit, take it to court, and handle it in a legitimate way. But if you're just screaming and hollering on a YouTube channel because people aren't giving you enough donations to support your channel, which I could call you a scammer. I could say you're asking for people's money and you're not giving them anything back. You're just asking them to give you money so you can rant on YouTube. Well, that wouldn't be fair for me to say, just like it's not fair for you to assume that because a black man was able to go out here and do something that no one has done in 100 years, which is raise $13 million to build the Black House. The Black House is real. You can go touch that. That building is beautiful. I have an office I got an office in the Black House because I said, this is amazing. I feel so good being here. I want to support this, right? And so I just personally think that, that if you just kind of like throwing like little crazy comments, you're going to get disrespected in the conversation. Grown-ups are going to stop listening to you because you're not approaching it with any sort of serious dignity or integrity. You're not approaching the black business owner the way you should be approaching some of these white businesses that really are doing incredibly harmful things to black people. And they're not tiny little funds like the Tulsa Fund. Tulsa Fund's tiny. $10 million, $12 million is a tiny number. There are white people that run billion-dollar companies that are selling, like Popeye's Chicken. Popeye's made $5 billion off of black people selling refried diabetes. Why aren't you protesting at Popeye's? Because that's the billion-dollar issue. The Tulsa Fund is tiny. So even if it wasn't being run in the way that people think, I think that that's a tiny thing, right? So that's my belief. I just don't even have time to even talk about it because I want to talk about the billion-dollar problem, not the tiny $1 million problem. All right. So anyway, let me keep going. Do you believe that foundational Black Americans have allies with Africans? I believe that there are some allies, and there are some people who are not your allies. That's kind of what it is, right? That's how I see it. But I see Africa as a great resource for all melanated people around the globe. I think the diaspora that's the Black nation. That's ours. And I think that there are many people in Africa who really want to connect with you. The Black House. Yeah, the Black House is awesome in Atlanta. I'm going to go visit the Black House this week. I love the Black House. You should go see it. It's a great place. It's like a Harvard University for Black people. It's ours. It's big. It's beautiful. It's extraordinary. And to me, my investment in the Tulsa Fund, just the Black House alone, made my investment worth it. I love the Tulsa Fund. I love the Tulsa Fund, not just for the other things it's doing, but I love the Black House. The Black House, that's a place that's going to be around for 100 years. How much do you make on average per month? You can look up, I think on Celebrity Net Worth, they listed my net worth at about $8 million or something like that. I am worth money. I am not a broke man. But that's kind of something I don't really like to dwell on because the money thing is more like, I see money as a pathway to having the power for us as Black people to do what we have to do. And if you look at some of the initiatives, like the All Black National Convention, it cost us $250,000. And the beauty of it was that we were able to do this without any corporate sponsorship whatsoever. There were no white people who wrote a single nickel of a check for that convention. We did that on our own. We were extremely proud of that. So if you want to know sort of why, raising money is important, it's because you can do things like that. You can't get freedom ain't free. Freedom ain't free. Whenever somebody else is paying the bills, they're going to be in charge, not you. Right. So one of the things that I concluded very early in all of this, when I started doing all this stuff, is that with the messages that I have and the things that I say, I cannot expect the white man to pay the bills for my liberation as a Black man or for our liberation as Black people. It just ain't going to happen. If they pay the bills, it's going to come with strings attached, as it should. As it should. If you give somebody a bunch of your money and why would you give somebody your money to attack you, right? Or to take something away from you? That's crazy, right? I'm not going to hand you a gun so you can shoot me with it. So they're not going to give you the money that you need for your own liberation. You're going to have to fight for that, right? And that's what it is. Are you continuing to invest in Cardano? Yes, I am. I would love to pitch you just to get your input. Any pitch competitions coming up? Nothing anytime soon, Tyler. We did try doing like kind of a pitch thing online. It didn't work very well. People just didn't have an interest in watching it. Maybe we did it wrong, But we'll probably include a pitch competition, maybe at the convention or something like that. But doing it online just didn't work. It just ended up, being another thing that I had to do every week. And it was kind of exhausting. It's time for us to own America. Be one. African Americans love the black man's truth. Yes, absolutely. Jamil, okay, when you said ask anything, I indulge. Thanks, Dr. Boyce. That's okay, Jamil. You can ask me anything. Sometimes it's a question I just don't want to, because the thing is, you have people that just get mad because you're not broke. Like that, the crabs in the barrel thing is very real. And there are people who just get mad because you're not broke like them. It's so they automatically conclude anybody that's black that's doing well and making money must be a terrible person or something. But you can see pretty clearly, I work very, very hard. I've been working very, very hard for 30 years, right? I've been on this. I was doing economics. I taught college students finance when I was 22 years old. When I just turned 22. Like, I had half my students were older than me. I was doing this in 1993. That's a long time ago. Some of y'all probably weren't even born in 93, right? So my point is to say that, there's no shortcut to success. Like, if you hustle and grind and plan and you're strategic and you don't stop, you're going to probably get success. But if you don't do those things, you're not going to succeed. So I'm not apologizing for nothing. I'm just out here. I'm just doing my thing. If people want to compete and do better, then outdo me. That's fine. Outdo me, out hustle me. But, to sit there and just, complain, I don't even know what to do with that. Let's see here. Randy, you had a panel discussion regarding getting the jab. However, no one spoke to how many people are dying every day due to COVID. Yeah. Can you speak to the potential risk to their life and the lives of others? That's a great question, Randy. And you know what happened with that panel? At the All Black National Convention, we did have a panel on the jab. I deliberately wanted to have at least 2 or 3 people that supported getting the jab. One thing that happened was one of the people, Dr. Maurice Green, could not make it. So that was one person out. Jay Morrison did get the jab, and he expressed why he got it, what his conclusions were for it. And that was an important point to have to balance out Dr. Christina Parks and Riza Islam and Angela Stanton and Maj Touré, who are all very much against the jab. I don't want the black conversation about the jab to be one where we can't hear other points of view. I hear that. I hear it from my own family. Half my family they watch MSNBC religiously. They have their point of view, and I respect that, and I hear that. So my conclusion on all that was, what are my odds of catching it and dying? Right? Telling me about the number of new cases doesn't do it for me. Because think about it. What if they announced every day the number of new herpes cases? There's millions of people that have herpes out here. A lot of people don't even know they have it, right? Because they don't get tested for it, right? But then you could get to the point where you're like, well, one potential side effect of herpes is you could die, right? So next thing you know, people are saying, well, I can't be your friend anymore because you didn't get the herpes vaccine, right? I personally feel that it's your right as a human being to make the choice that works for you. And there's nothing wrong with that. Sure, there are people that are dying, but when you talk about death from that virus, but you're not talking about all the other ways that people are dying, that tells me that you've gained tunnel vision. You become a little bit disingenuous because you're not talking about the fact, for example, there have been more car wrecks since the pandemic because people are driving recklessly. Like, thousands and thousands of extra people have died from car crashes. Thousands of people have died from suicides. Thousands of people are on drugs now. 100,000 drug overdoses occurred last year because a lot of people felt like it was because of the pandemic, right? So if you're not going to talk about all the other deaths, then don't talk about that one. You can't talk about death in a vacuum. You can talk about all the different ways people are dying. There are people dying. Go add up the number of people that died last year from diabetes, heart disease, and strokes from all the horrible food that we're eating every single day. That number dwarfs the COVID numbers. It dwarfs those numbers. Go add up the numbers of black children that were murdered in Philadelphia and Chicago last year. Those numbers are big. So you're talking about one thing because the media done got in your head. The media's got you focused on one thing, and they're doing that because Big Pharma's making big money by pretending to be your superhero. So I'm not a fan of that. I'm not a sucker. I don't go along with just what people say on TV. I'm looking at the whole picture. So I'm not saying that you're wrong to get this shot. I'm just saying that's not my choice, and you should respect my choice. It should be called the stab before the jab. Yeah. Can you speak on the health disparities in our communities? Yeah, I think that there are health disparities in terms of access to care, quality of care, things like that, but also the big disparities, the economic disparity, because there should be Black-owned hospitals. I think that if we have Black-owned hospitals and we take control of our healthcare instead of asking white people to do it for us, then we will be in better shape. I've never, ever in my life, I will never, ever in my life, ever go to a white person and scream Black Lives Matter, because I know that my life matters. If my life matters to me, I should be taking care of my life, not asking him to do it. Why the hell am I asking this white man to somehow believe that my life matters and that it's his job as another man to take care of my life? That's crazy to me. The Black man was made into a little baby with the whole Black Lives Matter movement. That's crazy to me. You a damn man. If you a fucking man, you defend your own life. You defend what is yours. You defend the lives of the people that matter to you. You don't go to another man on your knees like a child, begging him to defend your, please, sir, my Black Lives Matter, sir. I need you to make sure you know that my life matters, Bob. I just can't do nothing for myself. There ain't no, this is the grown man zone. Ain't no little boys up in here. Ever. The reason I love Dr. Claude Anderson, and the reason that people gravitate toward the ideas in this book, is because when you talk about a word like power, he's expressing to you that you live in a competitive world. The world is a goddamn competition. It is a competition. And there is no competition anywhere. You always talk about equality, right? You talk about equality. I want to be equal. I want to be equal. Well, there's no competition anywhere where the two teams are equal, but one team is constantly begging the other team to give them more points. That don't make no damn sense. Either you want to be equal or you don't. Well, equality comes with a lot of baggage. There's a price to pay for the freedom of equality. The price to pay for equality is that they're going to do exactly as much for you as you expect yourself to do for them. So when somebody tells me about all the things that white people need to do to make Black people feel better about ourselves, I just flip it in my head and I say, what things do white people do to expect me to feel better? What do white people expect me to do to help them to feel better about themselves? Well, white people need to help us get an education. Well, what white people are asking Black people to help them get access to an education? None. I haven't seen any white people asking for my acceptance. Well, so this whole idea of kind of asking other people to do something for you, that should really be insulting to the men, because you don't understand that when you're participating in all this nonsense, all this begging and groveling and marching and praying and Lord Jesus, please help us, you're really actually adding to white supremacy, because what you're basically saying is that because you're superior to me, I need your help before I can do anything. I can't stand on my own 2 feet without your permission, without your guidance, without you lifting me up and standing me up like I'm a little baby. So maybe that's why so many rappers put the word baby in their name, and Lil, L-I-L, Lil. You got Lil this, Lil that, baby this, baby that. Then you got Lil baby. Like, why the hell do you want to be a baby? What man on earth ever wants to be a baby? What woman has ever said, God, when I grow up and get me a man, I don't want no man. I want to date an infant. I want a grown ass nigga with diapers. I want him to walk around the house crying with a pacifier in his mouth. Ain't no woman ever been sexually attracted to a baby except for some woman that might have been mentally ill. There's no mentally healthy woman in the history of this earth that's ever been attracted to a man who wanted to be a damn baby. So when you stand up next to that white man, and it's no disrespect, I'm not trying to get into this whole white versus Black thing, but when you're standing up next to that other man, you better be a man. You better be a man. Because if you show up as a baby, then they're going to treat you like a damn baby. They're never going to respect you. Even your own damn people won't respect you. So that's it. That's it. You know, if I don't blame white people for being threatened by people like me. You probably should be. Because when I sit next to you, we're not even equals. I actually feel like I'm probably better than you. I work harder than you. I'm more focused than you. I have more courage than you. I'm definitely fucking smarter than you. I definitely have more education than you. So you should probably, if you are a white male and you are trying to compete with me for something that matters to me, you should probably be threatened. And if I were you, I would do everything in my power to sabotage the progress of Boyce Watkins. Like, I would literally be like, we got to kill this dude. We got to get his mama to, when he's a baby, we got to get an abortion. We got to make sure he never gets an education. We got to make sure we block his YouTube channel. We need to shut him down at every available opportunity, because just understand that if you give me that chance, if you give me a little peek, it's like a football game where they have this great running back in the backfield. If you give him a little ounce of daylight, he's running that ball all the way to the end zone, and you ain't going to catch him at that point. So you better stop him at the line of scrimmage. Right? You better do something. You better poison this food the night before the Super Bowl, because if you give me just a little bit, oh, I'm gonna turn that little bit into a lot, because I know exactly how to do that. So while I will talk to you guys openly about the fact that people like me are considered to be a threat to society, I also, in a very logical fashion, completely understand why people like me are perceived as a threat. Do y'all understand this? Do you understand? Do you remember what happened with, just talking about, give me like a glimpse of daylight. Did you see what happened when Charlemagne the God interviewed Joe Biden and asked Joe Biden some real intelligent black people questions? Did y'all see what happened? Joe Biden froze up. They ended the interview immediately. They shut that shit down quick. And people, some of you know, some of you don't know, but you don't understand. Charlemagne and I had a conversation before that interview with Biden, and I said, ask him about this, ask him about this, ask him about this, ask him about that. Or when you saw Ice Cube talking to me, and we're talking about how to deal with the Democratic Party, and you saw the reaction. See, when real men step in the room that really understand what's going on, that are really strategic, that are unafraid, that really can break this thing down, that is a legitimate threat to white supremacy. So if I were in their shoes, I would do everything possible to keep people like me out of the room, or to exterminate people like me as quick as you can. I totally get it. I'm not even offended by it. It doesn't even offend me. Racism does not offend me. I totally understand why you do exactly what you do, which also means that you'll understand why we do exactly what we do. So I think we lose the race game because we don't understand the game we're playing. We don't even know how to play the game. We don't even know how to compete in the game. You can't compete by begging. You can't. It doesn't work. It just does not work. Anyway, I gotta go, guys. I told my wife I'd take her to breakfast, so let me go spend some quality time with my wife, where she can tell me how I just got triggered. And she's a therapist, so she understands this stuff better than I do. So I'm gonna go. I hope you all have a wonderful day. And also, again, if you want to know about what we got going on tomorrow with the Forex thing, it's totally free. You can go to boycewatkins.com. Feel free to go take a look. Boycewatkins.com right at the top. And or if you're on Instagram, the link is at the in my bio, so you can go to my bio. All right, so let me get out of here and go eat some food and calm down. So I love you guys. I'll see you later. God bless you. It was nice talking to you. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Bye-bye.